Hey everybody, welcome to another Fun in 5. Bringing you today Arkham Horror, the card game. What is Arkham Horror? Well, it's beyond time and space. Assuming that I was sane and awake, my experience on that night was such as has befallen no man before. It was, moreover, a frightful confirmation of all I had sought to dismiss as myth and dream. H.P. Lovecraft, The Shadow Out of Time. Interesting intro. What do I love about this game? Why is this game fun? Well, first off, the scenarios and the setting. So that kind of grim opening from H.P. Lovecraft. This is set in 1920s. It's got a very dark mythos to it. I'll show some couple images on the screen. But if you know anything about this mythology world and dangerous setting, you'll see that there's kind of demonesque type of creatures and dark magic at work here in a setting where traditionally you're just, a detective or a special character, a police cop or something like that. So getting thrown into this world, this scene, this setting in the 20s, it's really neat. And I'll flash some of the cards on the screen here, but just the art imagery that comes up and some of the flavor text or the story that you'll see as you go through some of the campaign. It's just really neat how it draws you in. And I think that's a fun part of the game, is just that theme and story just invokes from card to card and from campaign to campaign. Second thing I like is the chaos token system. So this is, in many games you will roll dice to see what results you have for a skill check or for combat. In this game you would have these chaos tokens, and you might have them in a bag, or you might draw them blindly out of this little container here. And whatever you draw is going to be your result to your core comparison. So it might be a -1, it might be a -3, or you might get a couple pluses, or it could be a critical failure or some other special thing that happens. And the reason that that's important is because throughout the game you can find ways with your cards and abilities to add new tokens or take away tokens that you don't like. Maybe you get to remove a -1 or remove a -2 to make your chances of drawing the other tokens a little bit higher. So that chaos system, it's used in all kinds of different ways in the game, and it's very dynamic, and it feels a little bit more dangerous, I guess you could say, than rolling a die and trying to compare the result to a chart. Instead, you're just adding it to a core modifier that you already have. So I like that fact. I like the chaos token aspect of the game. Third thing I like is about that it is cooperative. So you can play it as a solo play with just one character, or you could play two-handed like I have set up here with Roland Banks and Wendy Adams as a two-player game that you're playing solo. Or you could play with a partner and both of you are working together, and you might have some discussions about who should go where and who should use what cards when. And so it can be very interactive as a co-op game. So I like the aspect that it is single/solo and multiplayer. And you can play with more than 2 players if you buy additional decks or expansions, but you guys are all working towards a common goal. The danger being that the more players that there are, the more turns that there's going to be by the unknown enemy or the deck. So I like that one. Next one is about deck building and character development. So what happens is, as you progress through scenarios, this initial game has 3 different game scenarios you can play through. You'll acquire money and points that you can attribute to purchasing additional cards for the pre-built deck that you put together. So it gives a recommendation of a deck that you can build, or you can put together a deck using a point system, and each card has a certain amount of points and allowances that you can use, and some of them have character-specific cards. And then once you have your deck built, as you finish a campaign, like I said, you'll get some extra points. And as you progress through more and more campaigns, you can get additional cards. And so not only that, but also in-game, when you're playing a game, you also are developing your character. You might get skills that you have drawn and played from your deck. You'll acquire more resources. You'll be managing your health and your mental state as you progress through this very grim world. So it's really neat to see not only how do you build your deck at the beginning, but how it plays out in each game. And so I like that deck building / character development in-game experience that you have every time you play. It's really cool. All right, and the fifth thing I like is the epic moments that you can have in the game. So there are many times this game will absolutely crush you. You will try your best, try your darndest, but the darkness will overcome. But you can always replay the scenarios and go through and try to do it again a different way, or plan your strategy out a different way with your partner or whoever you're playing with. But it's really, really neat when you end up getting attacked by something really vicious. Maybe you have two different ghoul minions that are attacking you, and you've got to pull out your automatic 45, and in your other hand you have a knife or a machete, and you're just doing your best to wail them off. It can feel cool to be in that environment and tell that story, or you may get the support of another character who's able to toss something in and say, I'll help you, and they kind of say the name of the card or what kind of help they're giving. It's almost like a role-playing element to what's just basically a card and mechanics based game, but the theme is so thick and the cards are so cool, and the moments you can have are so epic that it feels like you're role playing at the same time. So that's the last thing I like, or the fifth thing I like about this game. So this is Arkham Horror, the card game. I've played all three of the introduction scenarios that are included in the core box. I haven't bought any expansions yet because I've got so many other games that I do play. But at some point I may consider purchasing an expansion or two and see where they took the game beyond the initial box. It has a strong learning curve. There's a lot going on, a lot of tokens and iconography, so there is a little bit of setback to it. But once you get into it, it can be really neat to play. Hope you enjoyed watching, and have a wonderful day.